Amit, can you hear me?
Okay, all right, we are live now.
Are we live?
Yes, we are live. All right, so we have 17 people watching us live right now. What we'll do is we'll just wait for like a few more minutes while people start joining us. And before anything, once again, thank you so much everyone, whoever has joined us so far. I can see in the comments people are saying, hey, hi, hey, Switch, hi, excited for the session. Cool. We are also excited for the session. It's always interesting to see people super pumped up on the weekend, especially. We did this similar session the previous time with the Flutter App, building the Flutter App session, which we did it in the previous time, and that session was really interesting. We had a lot of comments, a lot of people were there, who had a lot of questions. And taking the feedback from the previous session, what we have done is we decided to kind of continue this as a series because we thought that there's a lot of potential in this particular topic. And the Flutter app community is also quite active, which we realized last time. There were so many questions. In fact, I think we missed out on a few questions, I
Yeah.
guess, because of the shortage of time. So we're like, not to worry, we will be coming back again, and we'll be doing more of these sessions. So now 27 people have joined us. Thank you so much, everyone. Soma Brata Manna says, hello, good evening. Rishabh says, Rishabh Ambash. So there is another Rishabh in the comments who's saying, hey, Amit and Rishabh. Hey, Rishabh there.
I
Uh, Sandeepan Day is like, OMG, Kolkata devs are back. Oh, yes. Just to kind of, so previously, in the previous session, also, we were doing this in collaboration with the GDG community. This time, the previous time it was, I think, Mumbai and Delhi, right?
Yeah, Flutter.
Flutter, Mumbai and Delhi. And this time we are doing this in collaboration with the GDG Kolkata community and Women Tech Makers Kolkata community. So really happy and good evening everyone, whoever is watching us right now. Myself Amit, I look into I manage the overall social media and the content here at Switch, and we have Rishabh with us. Rishabh, why don't you introduce yourself once again?
Yeah. Okay. So I am Rishabh Thakur, and I work with Amit in Open Financial Technology, and I am in the product team of Switch, which we are building to provide seamless embedded financing to different types of users. And yeah, I am also a Flutter enthusiast. As you can see, I've joined the Flutter event again, and this time Dhrumil will be joining us, uh, and we will take you through. This time it is more code oriented. So last time we got feedback that we did not see code like as much as possible. This time we try to include that, and Dhrumil is also here with us now. Hi, Dhrumil.
Dhrumil,
Hello,
yeah,
everyone.
yeah. So we'll let Dhrumil introduce himself. So Dhrumil, so this is the one change that we have from the previous session that we
Yeah.
had. Previous session was done by Rishabh, but this time we have among us Dhrumil. So Dhrumil, over to you. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much, Amit and Rishabh. First of all, for inviting me for this great opportunity to talk to the people. And my name is Dhrumil. Currently, I am working with the Go HighLevel company as a senior mobile application developer. Apart from that, I am also been serving as in the GD Google Developer Expert for Flutter and Dart since last 2 years. So this is my third year as a GD. So as a part of the GD, my interest lies to solve the problem of the community people who want to learn Flutter or explore Flutter, or like those who are facing some specific challenges. I try to contribute towards Stack Overflow, GitHub, or like this kind of live sessions. So that is like you can say as an introduction of mine.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dhrumil, for joining us. And with that, I think we have a considerable amount of people who have joined us. We have like 37 people watching us live right now, which is amazing. And I feel that this number might go up because this is what happened the previous time as well. It takes
Yeah.
a little bit of time for people to join in, but I think people are coming in. So what do you guys think? Should we like start? Yeah, we've just touched 40. All right. So I leave it up to you guys. You guys take it. It's your platform now, and all the best. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Amit.
Thank you, Amit. Hi, Dhrumil.
Hey,
Uh, yeah. So as you know that we are going to build and display how to build basically a Flutter app that collects and make payments. So that is the topic for today. We did a similar event last time, but this time it is more code oriented, and we'll show you details of the code structure and how to integrate the Switch APIs basically. So
awesome.
yeah, I think let's start with it.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
sure. So, Rishabh,
yeah,
you also said that you are also Flutter enthusiastic, right?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so how you? I mean, from when you started, exploring Flutter, like since how long?
Right. So I have been like associated with Flutter because we developed an app basically around 2 years back. So that time I was kind of a trainee in my team itself, and there were other two Flutter developers who were developing the app, and I learned quite a bit. So from there it started. I was into React and JavaScript initially, but when we saw that Flutter is booming and it's taking over most of the, yeah, basically it's easing out the problems which were faced earlier. So I started like as a part time I started learning that and trying different apps and publishing it on Play Store. So I kept doing that. So basically you can say 2 years I've been associated with Flutter, but not
That's
full
awesome.
time,
That's awesome.
part time. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
guys,
great.
just a moment, just a moment. We have among us Rishiraj Acharya. He would just introduce a little bit about, talk a little bit about GDG Kolkata. Before we resume this stream, and we are like close to 50. I think by the time we're done with that particular introduction, then we can kind of proceed with that. So
Sure.
Rishiraj, welcome to the event.
Hi.
Yeah,
Hello,
So
could you
Rishab.
tell us a little bit about GDG Kolkata?
it's really such a happy event that I'm with you, all you guys. First, I met Dhrumil Shah in one of the DevFest Kolkata event, and since then I've been following him across social media and his work. So it's a pleasure to be with
Thank you.
him today. And yeah, so I was introduced to GDG Kolkata by one of our college seniors when I was in my first year of my college, and since then, I've attended several events in GDG Kolkata, and I find this place to be really supportive and encouraged me a lot to help me grow. Right, because there weren't many resources available as such when I joined my college, and I was completely new to Kolkata. So, attending GDG Kolkata events. They helped me know Kolkata as well as learn so many new things like Flutter from Dhrumil Shah sir, and uh, so it was such a lovely experience in GDG Kolkata.
That's great. That's great, Rishiraj, that you still remember. So it was also kind of a great opportunity for me to visit the people in Kolkata. And I guess since then I've been invited. I guess before that also I've been invited for Kolkata event. And Kolkata has like lovely community of the developers. They always welcome the new content, new speaker, and their support is like tremendous. So I love to visit, again once this all the pandemic will get shut and the situation might be better to visit.
Yes, even I can't wait to have visit to your talk shows in Kolkata. It would be such a pleasure, and we all can accept that we all are missing the offline events really so much.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rishiraj. And we are really, really happy to do this event in association with GDG Kolkata. And yes, with that, I guess now we have touched 50 as well. We were looking forward to that particular number. And now we have 50 people, more than 50 people actually watching us live right now. So I guess let's get started with the session. Over to you guys.
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you, Rishabh. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Rishiraj.
So yeah, so we were discussing, Rishabh, that when you started your Flutter exploration, and you said almost like 2 years, but it's like on and off kind of relationship with you and
Yeah,
Flutter.
right.
Yeah. So I can see like there are like some more people are available in the audience as well. Those who are like new or experienced, I don't know. Guys, can you just post it that how or when you started exploring the Flutter, like how new or how old you are with the Flutter, so that when we talk about the today's session, we know that what part we should skip and what part we should go into detail. Yeah, I can see comments that people are so much excited. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so there is a one question that I can see, which is like I have almost zero experience in Flutter. Can I also do this? Obviously, you can do this. Just stay tuned towards this session, and I guess by end of the event, you might learn some of the good thing, and which you will be like amazed for this. Cool. I can see like people have started. They are like beginner, like 1.5 year experience. It's awesome. That's great. Okay, there are like new people are also. So welcome to all the new people for the Flutter. So we will also share those things that how you will start and the stuff. So the
So
next
for
question to you is
yeah,
so today's session is all about like building an app for ePOS. So I know what is POS, but what is ePOS? Can you just help me with that?
so it's just like electronic POS. So basically, we create an application where if I am a merchant and I have partnered with few of my agents, for example, so I'll give an access to this application to all my partners, and basically whatever all the functions and transaction can be carried out like separately, individually, and can be tracked. So if Swiggy is a merchant and their partners are delivery people, so those delivery people will get an access to this application where they can collect and make payments from their customers. So this is kind of an example of ePOS app, uh, and I think something similar to that we are going to display today.
Okay, awesome. So can I just just make it simple? Can I say that this kind of application are where I can integrate kind of the receiving and sending money in my
Yeah,
app,
yeah,
so that as an app developer, if I want to build some app where I can send the money to as you said the partners, and I can receive the
correct,
money from the partners. Okay.
exactly.
Awesome. So because I guess most of the developers over here, they got kind of a project, or they got that kind of inquiries, or work where there is like e-commerce app or edutech app or any other app. But and when comes the like payment integration part, it always comes a kind of a bit tricky. I hope in today's session we will be able to fix this issue
Yeah,
with this.
correct.
Okay, awesome. So can you just tell me that what is your favorite thing about the Flutter, and why you get into love with Flutter?
So one of the best things which I thought of Flutter is that it is like one single code can be used for both iOS and Android. So I think currently the major issue which I see is many companies, even new startups, they will create an app on Play Store, but uh, give a future timeline for iOS and develop iOS, then release iOS app. So it and their technical bandwidth also increases. Like they will have to hire different iOS developers, different Android developers, and then they can achieve their goal. So in Flutter, this problem is solved. I think this is one of the major USPs of Flutter, that you can write one single code for both the platforms. So this was kind of fascinating, and also the reactive nature of Flutter. That is also great, because you do not need to render each and every time. You can just render a module as per the event, and as per the activities. So these are few features which fascinated me, and I inclined towards Flutter.
Okay, awesome. So I just want to add some more for those who are like very new to the Flutter. So as you correctly mentioned, that Flutter is a kind of a framework which will help you to to reach out to on all the platforms, because right now the latest version that came, which is like 2.5 in Flutter. So here the web is like in the production, and the desktop version, which is like Mac OS, and so those are into the beta version. So that means if you have any problem to solve and if you want to write a code, you don't need to learn like web development, desktop development, mobile app development. You just need to learn how Flutter works and how the language works, and you just go there, write a code, and it will run automatically. So how it works exactly? So Flutter actually follows the methodology of the game engine. So let me just ask you: have you played the game called Temple Run,
Yeah.
Subway Surfer?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So
And
have you
people in the chat also, they can answer these questions what Dhrumil is asking. It might be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, so those who are listening, you can also like post your answers. We are actually looking at the live chat right now. So the main focus of here is, so as you played the game Temple Run, Subway Surfer, and any other game on Android and iOS, it looks same, right? There is no difference whether you play on Android or iOS, because that game engine has the superpower and of the whole screen. So whatever the code that has been written for that game, it is the whole control is for that on the game engine. So Flutter follows a similar kind of methodology. So Flutter has a control of the whole screen, as in the canvas. So whatever code you write, it actually generated by the Flutter framework. It's not generated by the Android or iOS framework. So
Yeah.
there's the whole concept, and that's why Flutter is able to give you that much of potential output with the speed, because everything is under control by itself. It's not dependent on any native APIs. So that's the another reason. Third is like the hot reload. So most of
Yeah.
the time, as a mobile developer, we all know that how difficult it is to make a small change and look at the app.
And build it again and wait for the
Correct.
build.
Yeah, so that's the kind of a kind of a very big pain till now, before that the Flutter came. So, and as soon as the Flutter came with the hot reload, like people like me who've been working with the mobile ecosystem, as in the developer, like more than 8 years. So I was a kind of like people like me are get into love with Flutter just because of the hot reload. So as soon as you type anything, just press Control S, and just within a less than a second, you can see the change in front of your screen. So that's the best thing.
It is similar to painting, and you can just see what you're painting at that very moment. So
Yeah, this is like rightly quoted. It's really like a painting, and that's why like Flutter says that we have the access of the canvas. So you have the
correct.
brush, the code.
Because
You just
I
have to
think,
write it. It will get drawn over the screen. Perfect. So let's just start with the ePOS system that we are going to showcase to the people, that how they can like develop. So I'm just sharing my screen here. Okay. Can my screen can be added? Okay. Thank you.
yeah,
So I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
it is Dhrumil.
Okay, awesome. So so today we are going to develop or kind of semi-develop, and going to showcase that how actually you can create a Flutter application for the ePOS system. As discussed, for the ePOS system, what we need is, and what the exit use case is. First, we want to send the money. Second, we want to receive the money. Now, if we are sending or receiving money, we need at least some kind of list, that to whom we have sent or to from whom we have received the money, and what is my current balance is. So this kind of use case we are going to cover today. As you can see, this is kind of the end result today in the app. So this is the first screen where you can see this is the payment demo is the title. Here you can see the current balance, which is 5 rupees. This is the recent transfer which I did. To receive the money, I will click on a receive. I will put the receiver's UPI amount and message. And to send the money, here are two steps. Because when you are sending the money, you need to add particular user as in the beneficiary. You might have seen this thing in the Google Pay or any phone pay, any kind of app. You just go select that contact, so it will get added into your list as in the sender. And once you select on it, you can put the amount. So the same methodology we will follow over here. So here we have some, three random or demo user. One is like the Rishabh. So actually, Rishabh just sent me some money to show me here. So thanks, Rishabh, for that extra amount. Uh, so once we click on this, any user to whom we want to send the money, here we can see there are like sender API, UPI, amount and message. So here that UPI has been autofilled. And what is this that we will cover later in the next thing. So let's just get started how we are able to build this screen. Anyone have any idea that what are the components here? And they can just post it in the chat. Those who
So
are
components as in components as in what all widgets you might have used here, right?
Correct. So in Flutter, everything is widget. Whatever you can see on the screen, it's a widget. Whether it's a black color, whether it's a bold text, or whether it's a light text, this all everything is widget. So Rishabh, as you said that you have quite experience. Can you just help me to identify which are the widgets have been used here?
So I can see a text widget first of all. Then I can see a list view. So you might have used builder, list view builder basically.
Okay.
And I can also see I think scaffold. So you have also used the app bar on the top of the screen. And for the buttons also you might have used elevated button or flat button, something like that.
Yeah. And if I'm clicking on any button, so I'm redirecting to next page. Do you know what that component is?
So it is material page routing.
Yes, and also there is a one more layer on it on the material page route, if you can recall it.
Okay, so it is the function that on tap, right?
Yes. So on tab, actually, we are doing something. So we are actually navigating from one screen to another screen.
Correct.
So that means in Flutter there is a navigator. So let's just go into the detail rather than doing this all the buzzwords, because those who are like first timers, they will be get confused. ये क्या हो रहा है? ठीक है? So what we'll do, we are going to build this app from the scratch. Okay. So I'm going to create a new project. So I will create a new project here in the GDG Kolkata directory in the workspace. I'll create the new payment demo. New payment demo app. So it will be get created soon.
So Dhrumil, I have a question. Why? I saw these type of questions in our last event also. So how is or why do you prefer Visual Studio Code over Android Studio? As I can see, you are using Visual Studio, right?
Yes. So it's a really a very good question, and there is no specific answer. But my personal preference is because Android Studio is quite heavy in terms of processing. Because Android Studio mainly developed for the Android related project, and there are a lot of things happens when you develop an Android project behind the scenes, like Gradle build happens, indexing all the files and everything. When I'm building an app for the Flutter, I don't need those extra processing thing. Also in Android Studio, there is the layout manager and everything. But in Flutter, we don't need that because here Flutter is a declarative language. So whatever you type will get display on the screen. So that's the first reason that it is very lightweight and it consumes less battery. And if it is a less processing, then obviously my system will not get heated.
Yeah. And so we have a few requests in the chat that can you zoom the code part?
Sure.
So yeah, so people can see.
So let me know whether it is just a second. Let me just do it this way. Is it visible now?
People can let us know in the chat if it is visible, or you can, I think, increase one more size if that's possible.
Okay, let me just do it to 70. I hope it should be visible now.
Yeah, it is better.
Awesome. Okay, so I have created a totally new app, and what we are going to do is we are going to replicate this screen. Okay, first of all, a static screen, and then we will integrate with the API to fetch all these details. So here I have taken one screenshot here. So let me just go to it. Sorry for the switches. Okay. So here we have a screenshot, this one. So we are going to create the same screen here. So now what I'm going to do is I will first run my newly created app. So when you create a new Flutter application, Flutter will give you one default demo app. Now that demo app is what? This is simple a counter application. So there is a one button. When you click on plus, it will increase the counter. So that's the first application that will come from outside the box in build. Okay, so let's just get it run. Meanwhile, if anyone have a question in the chat, we can answer them. Meanwhile, it just get built. Okay, so no question, no problem. So this is the first app that we can see on the screen. What we will do, we will actually remove this whole application and we will write our own. So here in the code, you can see on the left hand side, we have this kind of folder structure in Flutter, where the Android, there is a dedicated Android folder, dedicated iOS, dedicated web, and build, lib, and test. So the all Flutter code which we are going to write, that resides into the lib folder, library folder. And as in programming, when you start any program, it will start with the main function. The Flutter follows the same methodology. So here is the main.dart file, which is the starting point of your your application. So we will go to lib folder in the main file. In the main file, we can say there is a main method, as you can see. And in the main method, we have one method inbuilt, which is called run app. So this method actually, responsible to run our app. Okay. Now in Flutter, everything is a widget. Whatever you see on the screen, it's a widget. So here you can see there is a one class is written with the my app, which extends the stateless widget. Now, what is stateless and stateful? That we'll cover, as soon as we progress in the session. But just for your concern, in Flutter, everything is a widget. And as we are creating our widget with the name of my app, and we are passing it to the run app, and it is simply running the app. Now, I will delete everything. There is another widget called my homepage. I'm just removing that. And we'll just save it. So there is an error because we don't have anything here. So I will remove that part as well. I will remove the extra unnecessary comments, which is right now not required in this case. Okay, so this is the code as of now we have, and we'll remove this comment as well. Okay, so here what we have done is, here we are writing our new app, which is a stateless widget. In the stateless widget, what we want is, we want an application which follow the material design guideline. So that's why we are writing as a material app. Here is the title. We will change the title as the payment demo. We'll save it. And theme. So here our primary theme color will be blue, but there is nothing you can see on the screen. The reason is we haven't provided the home screen. So here this is the parameter called home, and it consumes one widget. So here you can see it accepts widgets with the question mark. That means you can pass the null as well. So this is the null aware widget, and this is a null aware version of the Flutter after 2.2. So that's why there is a question mark, that it can consume the null. So what we'll do is, first we'll create the screen. So on the left hand side, in the lib folder, I will create a new folder called screens, as we are going to create multiple screens. On the screens, I will create a new file called homepage.dart. Now, in the homepage.dart, what I'll do, I'll simply create one stateless widget called homepage. So I am using a one shortcut, which is like STL. So if I press STL, it will create a stateless widget for me. Here you can see the snippet. So this is kind of a template which is ready-made available in any IDE, whether it's a VS Code or Android Studio. So here we have homepage. What I will do is, I will simply link this homepage to my here material app in the home. So here I will create an object and I will simply import it, and I will simply save it. Now it says we need a const, because this is only one time that I'm passing and there is no change. So that's why I'm declaring as a const, and I'm running this app. Still it's a black background, because in the home page I have just written a container. So container is a kind of blank container and we are not passing anything. So what we'll do, I will add another widget which is ready-made, and the name of that widget is scaffold. Now the scaffolding meaning in English is you have the ready-made structure. Now in any application, we have dedicated structure where in the top we have like top bar, bottom we have some bottom navigation bar, we have navigation drawer which comes kind of a drawer. You have seen this kind of behavior in all the application like Gmail, YouTube. Also we have like the main button on the right bottom which is called floating action button. So how as a developer, you should design this. So you don't need to worry about it because Flutter provides the ready-made widget which is called scaffold. So here we will use scaffold. And if I just simply press save, and here the screen will come as a white. Now, as I said, we have like app bar. So app bar is a property of the scaffold. It can accept the app bar. Here we will add app bar and we'll save. You can see the app bar here. In the app bar, we need title. So that's why I'm going into the app bar. There is a property called title, and title accept a widget again. Here I will type payment demo. I will save it. And here you can see. So I have, in my code, I have added some, strict rules to follow some coding mechanism. That's why you can see, some errors here, which you might not be seen in your editor because your setup is a like default setup. I have done some changes into my setup. So this is a kind of app bar. Now, if we go back to our screenshot, we require the app bar, some kind of text, another text, some scrolling view, which is kind of list view as Rishabh mentioned, and 2 buttons. So we want everything to be in, like one by one fashion in a particular column. And to have this, we have a widget called column. And now this particular part in the app is known as a body. So in the scaffold, we have app bar, which is this part, and this whole part can be considered as a body. In the body, I will write as a one widget called column. Now column can have multiple widgets inside. So that's why it has the property called children. In the children, I can write n number of widgets which I want to consider here. So according to our screenshot, as we can see here, we need one text which is current balance, and here we need a value. So right now I will just simply put it as a like the widget called text. Here I'll write current balance and INR 5, and I will simply save it. So here we can see, but the font is very small because we haven't passed anything here, and it is like left aligned, which doesn't look good. So what I want to do is I want to give some padding. So on the text, I want to give padding. So I can write a widget as a padding, or I can click on this bulb button. And here I have wrap with padding. I'll simply do this and it will say that, okay, I can pass 16. So here we can see some padding here. Let me just remove this thing so that you guys do not get messed up with these errors. Okay, so now it will not affect the errors. Okay, so now we have some padding. Now I want to cover it kind of a card view. So I can just simply wrap a card, wrap with a widget. I'll simply put as a card. I'll save it. So it will look like a card. Now I want this card as the full screen. So what I can do is I can pass the width parameter, but it doesn't have the width. So what I need to do is I need to add the width parameter to its children. Now its children has a text or padding. So what I can do is I can simply replace this padding with the container. Container has the padding property, so I don't need to change it. And here I will pass width double dot infinity. So how much size that we have, it will just get stretched to this. Now I need another text below this. So I'll simply copy this text and I'll put below this card widget, because now in column we have one card widget and another text widget. And here I will write resend transactions. Now I want to make it a bold. So I want to make it bold to the text. So I will give it some style. So in the text widget, I will add some comma. I will add style and text style. I want to make it bold. That means I want to give some weight. I will add some font weight dot bold. Here you can see it is get bold. And I can add this style to here as well. So this is how you can do it. This is kind of a basic understanding. So,
Dhrumil,
Rishabh, you
instead
have
of
a question here.
yeah. Yeah, so instead of card, like you used card over here. So I think we can use, there are multiple alternatives for this also, right? Like we can even customize, take a container widget and customize it and create something like this.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can do that. So in the container, we have, the different properties. As you can say, the decoration, the color. So if I go with the color and I will pass colors dot red, my container become red.
Okay.
So you correctly mentioned, I can, like play with multiple widgets. I can use one widget in place of another. As you can see, I have, like replaced the padding widget with the container. And then I
Correct.
have, added the padding as the property of the container. I can still write the padding widget inside the container. There is no harm. But better you should, like minimize the use of like number of, there
Three
should be
different.
less number of widgets in your widget tree. So when you write a code, just try to, reduce the number of widgets. Like, like wrapping a one widget into another to another. It's
So
better
it's
to
better
like,
to, yeah, it's better to use a single widget's properties rather than using multiple widgets and make clustering it. So yeah.
correct. So the next part, what we want is, we want a kind of a list view here. So here we will first write a static list view. So here we have list view. Now in list view, we want to, build the items. So list view has the property called builder. And in the item builder, it accepts the two parameters, context and index. That means when you iterate towards the list view, you have an index to where you are going. So what we will do is, there is a ready-made widget available called list style. I'll use the list style. And in the list style, we have, sorry, I guess I did something wrong. Okay, let's see what goes wrong. Okay, so it says null check operator used on a null. And the render box was not laid out. I guess most of the people who are, starting their development, they might have used this issue. Render box was not laid out. Can I see some result on the chat? Does anyone have faced this issue, like, putting the list view under the column and the stuff like that? So what happens here? Let me just give you an example, because this is like very common mistake or like common error. Like, any new Flutter developer jump to the Flutter and they face this, and there are like a lot of different answers. But the right answer is how you understand the code. So in Flutter, what happens? The first widget that you write and the insider widget that you write, they have the different connection. So first widget actually tell the insider widget that, hey, this is the size and you need to, render in this particular space. And the insider widget will tell that, hey, this is my size and you can, like reshape yourself. So here the column is saying that, hey, I have a like list of the size available, and I can say that you can, get place inside here. Now we place card here, we place text here. Now we have a list view. Now list view has also a property of stretching its own self. So how we can restrict it to list view that, hey, you don't need to stretch it down. You can stretch down
The
till the
tail
length
size.
that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rishabh.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you want to control the stretching of a particular widget, what you can do is, you can tell your widget that, hey, you need to expand it till the space you have. And to tell that, we have the dedicated widget, which is called expanded. So what I'll do is, I will wrap this list view under the expanded. So like wrap with a widget and with the expanded. So now expanded widget, what will do? Expanded widget will expand to till the the space whatever it has, and then it put the child inside that particular view. So now list view has only this much of space, because column doesn't know how much space I have. It will just get expanded. So now expanded actually put this boundary, and whatever the child which is inside the expanded, they have now the boundary that, hey, I have this much of space and I can expand to this level only. So that's why
So
the
Dhrumil,
expanded comes.
yeah, Dhrumil, what is the concept of min size or shrink wrap over here? Like, if you
Sorry?
want to restrict. So I saw a concept of shrink wrap, making it false, to control the size of the widget list basically.
Yeah. So let's just first read what exactly the shrink wrap says towards it. So if we go up, uh, do we have the documentation here? Inside, I think we should have it.
Yeah, it's not there.
No. So technically, shrink wrap is like so whatever the let me just put it in a more easy way so that I can explain you in a better way. Okay, so if you have like long list of list view, and you don't able to decide it whether how long it will go. So if we remove this widget and we'll put shrink wrap, sorry, as the true. So it will also follow the same thing. So it will also get shrink towards the space whatever it has.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't remove this. Okay, I hope it won't work. Let me just rebuild the app, because hot reload might not work sometime properly. Okay, so yeah, we are discussing about the shrink wrap. So shrink wrap actually, what, so almost do the same thing, but there is a big difference which I also need to check in what exactly the difference between it. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so let's just go ahead with that with the expanded for now. And for the list style, we have like title property. In title, we can add text like username, and here in the subtitle, we can add text and UPI ID. Let's say. Okay, let me just rebuild the app and just wait for it. I guess we have broken something, the build procedure. So we are not going to write the whole code like this way. This is just for the understanding that how actually you can write down your code over here, and then we will jump to how we can actually get those data from the APIs. So meanwhile it is running, Rishabh, I'm just
Yeah.
copying my signature. Can you just help people with the list of APIs that we are going to use?
Sure.
Uh,
So I got your point. So basically, we'll just inform our users that we will be using Switch API suite to collect and make payment in this app we are developing. So it is uh, basically it provides banking services through APIs, and through which you can send collect request on UPI apps on your users' devices, and also you can make a transfer from your wallet to other users' bank account or UPI ID, anything. So as Dhrumil already showed us the demo of the app, you would have seen we had few inputs where UPI ID and send money, request money. So all those things are handled by these APIs, which we are going to show you. So I'll just share my screen. Yeah. Okay. So I hope My screen is visible.
Not yet. It's loading. Yeah, now we can see it. Now, can you just zoom in a bit, Rishabh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is it
Rishabh, in the application, what we want is first we want my current balance.
right?
Uh,
So, I'll before going to the current balance, I'll tell you for which account we are checking the balance. So this
right.
is there's a concept called virtual account, and every users who are coming and signing up on your app that we are building today, they will get a virtual account with their details, KYC details, and other details. So once you get that virtual account ID, people can receive, collect, and reconcile money and like whatever banking operations they need. So basically, it works as a bank account, but it's not physically a bank account. So once
Okay.
you create, this is the API. I hope this screen is visible. Yeah, I have highlighted this API. So basically, when you hit this API with particular body parameters, that is type of the account you want. So it might be virtual savings or link current account, anything, and different details to create the account. So we'll skip this part. This will give us in response. You can see the right side. In response, we'll get a virtual account ID.
Rishabh, sorry to interrupt in between.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm not sure which link you are referring to. Can you just share the link in this the chat so that everyone who are joined
sure,
can
sure.
know the link that what we are referring to?
So I think in the YouTube chat you are saying, right?
Yes, you can
Yeah,
put
I
it in the
request.
chat, I
I think
guess.
someone from Switch can share it in the YouTube chat. Amit, if you're available, you can share it. So I'll go ahead with yeah. So once you create a virtual account and you get a virtual account ID, you will you can perform different banking activities on those accounts. Such the first one, as you said, is checking current balance. So
Right.
there's one API which will give you account balance of that particular virtual account. So if you see the API endpoint, here we are passing an ID. So
Right.
this ID is the virtual account ID which was generated in the previous API that started with VA underscore. So once you hit this API with a particular ID, you will get the balance for that account. So the response body will look something like this. That is amount is for currency INR available on, and yeah, is it live or not. So
So what
there
is this available on? Which looks like a long number.
so it is a Unix timestamp basically. So
Okay.
yeah, so when the balance was checked, and when this API was hit, and the last balance that was available in that account, it is that time in Unix timestamp, and I think we have epoch converters to convert like into physical date and time.
Got it.
Yeah,
So
and
can we just try to integrate this in our app?
yes, yes, definitely. So in Flutter, we can use the HTTP package to call these APIs and use their response. Right, Dhrumil?
Yes, correct. So right now, like there are multiple options, but first we will go with the HTTP package, and
Yeah,
then we'll
and
see.
I think in the I have already mentioned it that it is like if you see the best practices, it is definitely recommended to write these APIs and call these APIs from your server side, or maybe Firebase or Cloud Functions or something like that, and just call that in your front end. But for the sake of simplicity, we'll use the HTTP package.
Cool. So can we just switch to my screen?
Yes, yes, definitely.
So let's just go back to our application that we were building. So this was the screen that we were able to achieve it, and so now and I'm going back to the our main application, which we have demoed earlier. So so this is the app where we have right the app bar. We have added the background color. In the column we have added like another row. Why row? Because we want some spacing here, current balance in here. The app is still running and we will be able to see it. And then we have like a divider, the recent transfers, where we have list of transfers. I will cover each and everything like one by one. Let's just go with first the common services. So here I have created one class called common services, and there we are actually consuming the API that Rishabh just shown. So as you've seen on the screen, let me just reload again. And you can see there is a loader, and on the current balance also there are no data. Once data is coming, we are showing this data. So how these all things is happening? First, let's just understand how we are actually can integrate the API which Rishabh mentioned. So as Rishabh mentioned, there is an API called api.switch.io v1 account and ID. Now this ID is our virtual account ID, which I'm going to pass. And this I'm not going to share with you because this is kind of a private ID for this particular purpose. So I have written this ID at my constant file, and I am just passing that ID here. So here what I'm doing is I'm converting this string into the URI, which required by HTTP. You can simply pass the string as well, because it can have the string. No, it has the URI, so you need to convert into the URI. If you are using the DIO, which is like the another package, it might accept the string as in the API. Correct, Rishabh?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So also in this particular API, it requires some authentication,
Right.
so that not everyone can use this API, and there might be some authorization and authentication. So
I'll
when
just
we opt in,
brief on the authorization part, Dhrumil.
yeah, please.
So yeah, so because I see few questions also in the chat that the API is not working and stuff. So before obviously running this API, you need credential, that is API credential, and that you will get once you create an account on Switch. So once you create an account, you will get test keys, that is test API keys, and you have to pass it as a token in the header of the in the authorization part, that is in the header of the API call. In the authorization, we pass token as the access key and the secret key separated by a colon. So it is a bearer auth basically. So yeah, post you get your credentials and you create an account, you will be able to hit the API.
Right. So I can show you that. So here is a demo account ID. That's okay. Right now I'm showing to you. But here is a bearer, and here is the token that you will get after getting after logged in. So this as an API token, you are using it. I mean we are using it here.
Yeah.
In the authorization. So here what we'll do is we'll first get this URL as a URI. We will get the token. Now everything will put a request as the HTTP get. Now this HTTP, how I get it? So for this, I need to implement a package here in the pubspec.yml. So here, HTTP, this is the package I have integrated. If you want to see how I integrated this package and from where you can get this number, just go to the web browser. Here, go to pub.dev. This is a repository of all the plugins and all the libraries. Here you can just simply type HTTP, press enter. You will go here and you can see the latest version here. Just need to copy this and just paste it. And if you want to know how to use this library, you can see the README file. Each and everything is written over here.
There are various examples also, I think. Yeah.
Correct. If you go to the examples tab, you can see the example. You can also go to the repository on the right hand side from the GitHub, and also you can see the change log. For example, if you have started your project 6 months back and now the version is different, so you can see that earlier you were on the 0.12.2 and now the new version is this. What are the changes that had been happening? And if you want to upgrade to 13.3, what are the changes that you need to make it in your app? So they have mentioned that this is the breaking changes, this is the breaking changes. So this is the one way how you can actually do this. So let's just go back to code. Here I have added the HTTP package. Yeah, Rishabh.
Yeah. A few of the people are asking for the GitHub link.
GitHub link
we can
for the
cover it
source
later.
code.
You can continue.
Yeah, okay. So don't worry, guys. After end of the session, we will share the whole source code of this app, so that you can play around with it with your API ID and your token. So let's just go back to our API calling. So from here, you can call the API. It will return the response. From the response, as Rishabh mentioned, the response can be three types: 200, 401, and 422. So what we are here care about for this particular demo purpose is 200. If we are getting the 200, which is like API is returning successfully, so whatever the data that we receive, we are converting into the JSON. So JSON.decode is again another kind of package which can be available in the convert, which is inbuilt package of the Dart. So it will actually convert your body into the JSON format, and from JSON we are converting into one row object. Now, those who are from the Java background, they might have heard about the POJO, which is like plain object Java, plain original Java object, or what? Does anyone know the full form of POJO? The right answer is plain Java object only. There is no long of the PO. It's just a plain Java object. So here we are creating the Dart object of this particular response. So here you can see I have created a one class which has this parameter object amount and currency and available on. And I have, like passing JSON to object and object to JSON. So this is how I have done it. So I'm simply like, passing this JSON to this.
Yeah, Dhrumil, so I just want to mention that the model class you just showed, right? So that
Yes.
is basically built on the basis of the response from the API, right?
Correct. So because, yeah.
So I just wanted to mention that there's few website one that I know is QuickType, where you can just paste the response of the API and you will get a demo model where you can obviously change the class name and etc. So I
Correct.
found it.
Also, also let me, as you mentioned correctly, let me just bring you the another website. So let me just first get the response here. So here you can see I got the response. Let me just put it into the response.body, and okay, I guess I am not getting it properly. Dot to string. No. Response.body. Okay. Let me just copy it. Okay, and here we have the another website called JSON to Dart.
Okay.
So JSON to Dart is like it will directly give you the object itself. If you put it over here, like proper JSON class, and if you click on like generate, okay, there is some issue with my JSON. There is a JSON viewer website as well where you can check what is the error with your JSON. Okay, so it is not a correct JSON. I hope it will be now. Yeah. So there is a one extra mark. Now if I click on generate, it will generate me a class. Now if I want to convert it like balance and click on balance, generate, it will create a class with the balance. And I will simply just copy this, copy Dart code to clipboard. I'll go here, I'll create new file, like another in the models folder, I'll create new file, balance new dot, and I'll paste here. So simple is that. Now, why there are some error? Because my code is like null aware, and this particular thing is not null aware here. That's why. But this you can do it. So you can actually save some time, using these websites. So thank you, Rishabh, for like mentioning this thing.
Yeah. So Dhrumil, one more thing. So Rishabh is asking if we can get the code. Yes, we will share the source code in the end of the session, and we'll share the link also.
Yeah, don't worry. We will respect the time, and we're not going to cover each and everything in detail. And we'll share everything what you can see on the screen right now. So let's just go back to our code. Yeah, do we have any other question, Rishabh?
No, we can go ahead.
Okay, cool. So now we have converted our response to the JSON, and from JSON to our class object, and now we are returning this object. And if it doesn't return anything, it will return with the error. So now we got the data, but how we display this data over here? Because I want to show the balance over here, right? So how we can do this? Because this is like something which takes some time. That means if this is taking some time and working as in, like asynchronously, so that's why it returns with the future. Like it will, return some data in future. So to consume the future, we have like multiple ways in Flutter itself. So one way is like by using the future builder. So here you can see I have used the future builder widget. In future builder, we can pass, there are two parameters. One is future and there is a builder. In the future, we'll pass the method which will return the future. And in the builder, we will, build our UI. So this is the method that we have written here. So we are just calling the method in the future. Now this will return some data in the snapshot variable. Now, as on the first time when this method will get called, obviously there won't be any data and we are not showing any data here. So that's why we need to put a check that, hey, snapshot, do we have some data? Yes, it will. If it has some data, we will use it this way. If we don't have data, we'll simply show the container here. So if we like rerun here, you can see the blank screen. And once data is coming, you can see the data. I can change the color here just to give you a glimpse, like 40 and height 40, and here color like colors dot red. If we do this, you can see the red dot here. See, so that's how it is working. Okay.
So, Dhrumil, if we don't handle this part, so there might be a crash on the screen or some red screen might appear, right?
Yes, because the builder needs something to display.
Correct.
If you don't write else part, it doesn't get anything, and it will throw an error that, hey, we don't have anything to display, what we should do.
Right.
So you need to handle, like, whether you have data or you do not have data, you need to handle those part.
Okay.
So yeah, so now as we are passing this data here, so as we are getting the data, we are passing this, the balance response object. So how we'll get this here? We'll get this from the snapshot. So the snapshot.data will contain that object. So what I'm here doing is I'm actually typecasting it to this particular my balance object. So I'm saying this, hey, whatever object that I return from the data, convert it to the balance, and from the balance, I have like currency and amount. As we have created this class, in class we have like currency and the amount, and I'm displaying this part in the text. Here you can see I have displayed this balance.currency and balance.amount. So that's how we can utilize the future method. So this is the one way. Now let's just jump to the another API. Rishabh, can you just please explain how we are getting this the transfers data?
Yeah, sure. So as you said, first of all, this is the future builder, right? So till that time, we are in that time we are calling an API that is listing of all the transfers, right? Recent transfers or you can say transactions. So I'll share my screen again just to show you the API. Yeah. So you can see we have a get API that will just.
Your screen is still not up. Amit, can you just please add his screen to the stream, please?
Thank you.
Yeah, now we can see it.
Okay. So as it is similar to the list all, yeah, it is visible, right? So this is called list all transfers. That is basically we just need to pass. So for example, if you're calling this API from my account, so all the transfers done from my account will be displayed in a list view, or you can call it array also, and it will look something like this. So people, if you want to know what are the previous transactions from done from your account, this is the API to call. And this is a single get API call without any path or query parameter. Parameter there are optional. That is we have added pagination over here. So if you can if you want to mention a borderline, basically from which virtual account to which virtual account you need the data for, so then you can mention that in the request body. And it has two kind of responses, that is 200 if it is working fine, and another is if there's any invalid authorization.
Okay, so
You can
so
mention
in,
it.
so in this particular API, we will get the list of the all the transfer that we did, right?
Right.
Okay. So for that, we need to like manage it in a different way. So can you just add my screen to the stream, please? Let me know once it is there.
It is there. It is there. You can go on.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Thanks. So we are going to use the same API which Rishabh mentioned. So now we know how to call this API. So I'm going to skip this part. Now I'm also getting the data in the new widget, new object, which is the transfer list. And transfer list also another class which I have created from the response of this particular API. So now what I'm doing over here is I have again used the future builder in there for the list view. So here also this method I'm calling, and based on the response of this feature, I'm utilizing this list item. So here the first check is if my snapshot has data, then only I will go inside. If my snapshot doesn't have data, I will show the circular progress indicator. Now, if my snapshot has data and that particular data is null, I mean, this object doesn't contain this list of all transfers. So I'll show that no transaction found. And if I got at least one data, so I'll put it into a list view, and I will create a list view with the list view item builder. I'm getting one item from here and putting in the list style. So in the list style, I'm putting the paid to whom I paid, the message. If I don't have message, and I'll put no message found. Here you can see the no message found on the fifth element. And on the trailing, on the last, I'm showing that how much amount I transfer. So this is like, kind of like very simple way you can integrate any API over here, like whether it's a balance API or this API. Now, the next part is how we can actually, like receive the money from anyone. So to receive the money, what we need is we need the UPI ID to request the money. So whatever amount that we are requesting is the amount and the message. So if we click on receive money, we can see the new screen, which is receive your APF UPI amount and message. Click on it, it will show error. And if I put like here, like Rishabh at YBL, amount like 12 and message, please send me money. And I'll put it, it will actually send the request to the Rishabh. But right now we are not going to do it because we don't need money. But what we can do is, Rishabh, can you just explain the code like API in this code only, like how we can actually collecting the payment here, and why
Yeah, yeah.
these are different parameters.
So yeah, basically this is a UPI collect. So in the UPI world, basically there are two types where you can collect money. One is intent based and one is collect request. So in intent, what happens? You would have seen a generation of QR code or a payment link where once you click on a button like receive money, you will either so it will basically show all the UPI apps available on this device, and it will say and ask you to select one of them. In the collect part, we have to mention the UPI ID specifically, that from this UPI ID I need to collect the money. So once you enter my UPI ID, I will receive in instant notification of a collect that Dhrumil has requested money for so and so. And if I choose to decline, your payment will fail. If I choose to pay, you'll get money in your wallet. So this is the process. This is the result of this API. The process is like you have, as you can see on the screen, there's one API where you just need to pass your account ID. That is the virtual account ID which we mentioned in the starting, and in which you want to collect the money. So that is you can see dollar demo account ID. That is the account ID in the path parameter itself. And now coming to the body, we have around 5 parameters. That is remitter VPI handle, basically the customer UPI from which you want to request the money. Amount is amount. Expiry in minutes is the basically the expiry time of the uh, request that will be available on the user's UPI app. So, for example, you can see he has entered, Dhrumil has entered Rishabh at YBL. That is a phone pay app. So I'll get a notification on my phone pay that Dhrumil is requesting 12 rupees. And if I delay it more than 6 minutes, so as you can see, expiry in minutes is 6. So if I try opening it, if I see it late, or if I open it late, so the UPI link would have been expired, and the request would have been expired, uh, which will basically the payment will fail if you don't pay within the expiry limit. Remark is just a custom message that we pass as a notes, or as you pass, like please send me money. Merchant reference ID is a unique ID that we have provided as an extra parameter for merchants to track their payments. So, for example, if you're creating this like for your customers, and later, like after 10 days and 20 days, you want to reconcile it. You want to see who actually sent this money or from where I received it. So you will just need to uh, create merchant reference ID as unique for each payment, and map it at your database, and for reconciliation later. So once you remember, for example, Dhrumil sent me a request, and you passed it your merchant reference ID which you passed was Rishabh's payment. So later when you just enter Rishabh's payment, if you query that, this payment will come up. So that is the purpose of this merchant reference ID. So
So
basically these
Rishabh,
are, yeah.
so in the bank statement, I can see the reference ID. It is the same.
Correct, yeah, that is the same.
Got it. So,
So
so
if
this is
so
kind of the unique reference ID which has been, utilized for a particular transaction just to
right.
reconcile the stuff. Correct?
Right, right. So if in case people are not passing this, bank itself passes from the bank set, we get a random unique ID. That ID will always be there. If you pass it, it will be your data. If you don't pass it, bank will generate a random data and give it to you.
Got it. So I guess that's why when I am, passing with the message and some random string, it is giving me error because in the message I have like, putting some spaces. So like this
Right.
is not the correct way to use the
Correct.
merchant reference ID, correct?
So yeah, so we have explicitly mentioned in the document also that there are some ways where you can pass this data. That is, minimum characters is 7. You can't pass spaces or special characters. You have to pass it as a unique single string.
Got it. So just to mention everyone who are going to utilize this code will work sometime it won't work because if you pass here like some spaces and if you send some request, it will fail and it will say please try again because we have written the code this way.
We have
Please try.
handled that.
But if if I pass like something like with the continuous string, so it will send a request to the Rishabh's see request and successfully. And I guess Rishabh also got the request of 12
Yeah,
rupees.
yeah, I got it.
Yeah, but please don't send it.
Yeah, I won't. I
Cool.
already, yeah, yeah,
Okay, so this particular request is a post request, correct?
correct. It's a post request.
Okay, so that's why I guess we are
Because
using it here.
yeah, because I think uh, if we want to post some data through the API to the server, we need to call it post. And as you saw in that list all beneficiary, in that we are just requesting some data. So we are just giving a
Having the
get.
get method.
Yeah,
Right.
get.
So that's why. So it's just like very common methodology in the programming. Those who are not aware, if you want to put something on the server and then fetch the data, then there is a kind of a post request that because you are posting something, right, and also getting some response. If you are getting the data, then there is a get request. If you want to update the data, there is a put request, and also there is a patch request as well for the different purpose where you want to like patch something or did some changes over there, and there is a delete request to remove some data from the server. So if you are
Correct.
like deleting something, so there are some http requests
So,
that
for
you can.
example, we have an API that is delete a beneficiary from your list. So, in that particular call, as you mentioned, delete method is should be passed.
Correct. So here, if we want to go and quickly look at the code, how we have wrote this the receive money code, because now we are like we have like very less amount and we need to cover another like send money scenario as well. So here the screen is like very simple. We have like another scaffold with the app bar, and you can see this back arrow button, comes automatically. I haven't wrote any single line of code here. So Flutter is smart. It knows, okay, it is running on the Android. If you are going in a different screen, obviously you want to go back. And on iPhone, you don't have a back button. You just have a one button, because I'm using the iPhone SE second generation. But if you are like, quite rich enough, and if you can afford, so you might be using like the phone which doesn't have a button. By the way, this is just a simulator. So even in simulator, I can afford only SE. So okay, no problem. Jokes apart. So the benefit of using the Flutter is like, this kind of small thing has been taken care by Flutter, where as a developer you don't need to worry about it. So the next thing is like this, which are the, again I am taking the column. In the column I have put like text field and the elevated button. Now you have, might have observed that if there is no data and I'm clicking on the receive money.
Dhrumil, yeah, this is what I was going to ask. Like, what if someone, because in the API, you know that even if one parameter or one argument is missing, the API won't run and throw an error. So
Correct.
to confirm that, I think these checks are required, which is very interesting because it's not there by default. So
Correct.
yeah, how do you handle this?
So this is rightly mentioned, because if you put something which is like required for particular API and you don't pass it, then API will get failed and it will return null, because here we have written null. Otherwise you need to handle the failing scenarios. So as you already know as a developer that these things are required, so you can control this particular request to the server, and you can ask the user, hey, I need this like receiver ID, amount, and message. So for that we have like text form field. So you might have seen like text field, and then we have text form field. Now there is like very small difference in that. Now what I have did is I have covered the whole screen, the whole column into the form, because now when I click on it, I'm going to submit this form. So I have created one form. I have passed a one key, form key. Now this form key is actually a magic. So in this particular form, a form particular has its own state. Now I'm restoring this state using the global key, and global key has a kind of a state which is form state, and this is the variable which is the form key. I'm passing this form key to my form. Now when I click on this receive money button, I'm seeing, hey, my form is in which state? Is my form is validated with all the validations or not? And I can put the validation on each field. So in the text form field, I have one validation. So here I'm seeing that, hey, my controller, this is my controller. If the text is empty, please show enter UPI ID to collect the payment from. Here you can see. If I pass here, it will just gone. Now how it is getting resolved? Here another property is auto validate mode. Here I'm saying this text field, hey, whenever any user interaction happen, you just go and check whether this condition is matching or not. If this is validating, just remove this error. So if I like remove this and I will save it, it won't remove the error until and unless I will check again. So let's just see. It is showing error. Now if I type anything, it doesn't go away, because if I click on it, then only it will go away. But now it will throw the error because we have passed the number, text rather than the number. So we can also control this, and I have controlled it, but I'm using from the desktop keyboard. That's why if we show here a keyboard to enable it, so you can see it will open only number keypad. So on the mobile user will not be able to write the text here. So how I did it is like in the receive money section, if we go in the text form field, we have the next is amount, and here we have the property called keyboard type. So here we are opening the keyboard type as a number. So user will be only able to add the number. And again, we have validator here and validator here and auto validation. So let me just go back to here and add my validation here. So it will go away. Now, on clicking of this, I am validating this stuff. So if I go to button click event, on elevated button on press event, here you can see my form key's current state is validated. So I'm just calling this method validate. If it returns true, then only I am calling this API to receive the money. Otherwise, I am just doing nothing. So I'm just keeping the whole part as doing nothing. So I hope this is clear. Rishabh, do you have any doubt over here?
No, that is totally clear. I think people would also be clear on this part, how to handle this mandatory fields. And Dhrumil, so I think it's already 6:20. People have lots of questions and we have to answer those. So can we start the Q&A session, or we can display just
So
the functionality of the transfer?
let's just wrap it in next 5 minutes, and then we will jump to the Q&A.
Okay.
Okay, so now again, there is a one more reason why I back for the next 5 minutes is because till now we have used the future method as the future builder.
Correct.
But here what we are doing is here there is no future builder because we don't want to change the state over here. What we want to
Right.
do is we want to send some money, we want to show loader here, and then based on the response we want to do some actions.
Correct.
Correct. So here what we are doing, we are actually using the state. So here I have converted this my whole widget as the stateful widget. So now my whole screen has some state. That state is the loading. Currently the loading state is false. So when you click on the like this button, and if it fulfills all this, sorry, let me just hide this keyboard. Okay, if it fulfills all these conditions again and again, and if I press on receive button, what will happen? It will go inside this if condition. It will put this particular state into the loading state true, and that's why I put it the state string. So now the current state will change from false to true. Then it will go and call this API. I have put it await so that till the API get resolved and it return the data, it will keep loading. Once we receive the data, on the response, I will checking what exactly the response is. And then based on the response, I'm showing the message on the bottom, which we just saw. And then I'm closing this loading part.
Correct.
So I'm just sending again a request. So you can see a loading. Now when the whole screen is in loading state, I want to change this button. So here in this button section, I have put it, if my state is loading, I will show the circular progress indicator. And if my state is not loading, I mean the loading is false, I'm showing receive money. So as you can see here, the state is loading, so that's why you can see loader. And then the state is loading is equal to false, you are seeing the button. Also on press, I have put like null. So when you press, when you pass the null on tap, it became the gray. So you can't click again because you don't want to send request again and again, right? While it is already there. So this is the another way how you can consume the future methods.
So Dhrumil, basically, instead of future builder, we can also use stateful widget. If
Correct.
and if there are only certain parts in the screen that needs to be updated again and again, we can use future builder for that particular widget.
Correct, because over here on this screen, I have two dedicated, like future methods which are
Correct.
taking care of this particular widget only. So rather than like updating the whole screen, it's better to like give the control to that particular widget and this widget. So that's why
And
on
I
this
think
screen
that
we
is
have used the future builder.
and I think that is one of the major USPs or beauty of your Flutter, that you can just manage one particular pixel of that screen also.
Correct, correct,
You have the
correct.
control over
You have like quoted very correctly. So the same thing over here in the send money. In the send money, I'm not going into the code. Here we are getting the the list of all my
beneficiary.
beneficiary.
Correct. So these beneficiaries are the ones which I added for my account, that account ID which we are passing again and again. So for that particular account, I have linked few beneficiaries that I need to transfer money to. So these all are live accounts, and if you press on that, you can send the money to that particular VPA. And as you can see, the top, that VAB underscore, that part is the beneficiary ID, which is required to do the API call of the transfer. So if you want to send money, and yeah, if you can show the code, if you can see, there is one Benny ID. So that Benny ID is that VAB underscore, which is the beneficiary ID of that particular user.
So actually what happens here, so when user is actually using the app, he doesn't care about this particular long string. What users care about is the UPI ID. That, hey, I
Right.
want to send the money to this UPI ID. So for the UI purpose, this is this. But just to show you what exactly happening behind the scenes. So on the API, you need to pass this, which is like the beneficiary ID, not UPI ID. Here in the body, we are not passing any UPI ID here. You can see we are just passing the account ID by which I am logged in, the beneficiary ID and the amount. Other than that, everything is been managed internally. So I mean, sorry, by the API. So this is how you can easily like integrate POS system into your existing app.
So basically, if you're building an application and you're worried how to introduce banking systems or banking services or wallets or like something similar to Paytm, Freecharge, some or PhonePe, so people have like in subconsciously people think that these things are very difficult, and to achieve this we'll have to run to and fro to the bank, and for 1 year we'll keep integrating. So that is a problem we are solving using Flutter and Switch. That is, you can create an ePOS app or a embedded finance app if you want to, or a neo bank as current term suggests, a neo banking. So yeah, you can definitely use these Switch APIs in your Flutter application and build it in a day. So basically, whatever Dhrumil has displayed till now was built, I think, in 2 hours, Dhrumil, or 3 hours, something like that.
Uh, Honestly, it was just like 2.5 hours. And why? Because 2.5 hours, because we were also, chatting in between.
Right, right.
Otherwise, I guess you can do it like within an hour if you are
Yeah,
like, like dedicatedly work on the project. Because there are like integrating an API, and those API are like simple REST APIs. So
correct.
if you know how to
Even
integrate API, you will be easily able to do it.
the Flutter makes it quite easy through their package and widget system. So most of the, I think, those mandatory fields or I mean, in the add beneficiary in the transfer page, the UPI ID was already fetched. So all these functions are made easy for like with the use of Flutter, and like in the UI part. So to improve the user experience basically. So I think that in that area also Flutter has done awesome job.
Cool. So let's just, move to the questions,
Yeah.
because I guess people have a lot of questions I can see on the chat.
So I can see one
Yes.
question which is very recent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
How can we add the beneficiary? So we, similar to other APIs, we have API for that also. You just need to pass the account which you need, account number or UPI ID, and trigger that API, and that beneficiary will be added against your account.
All right. So we have one question. So what I'm doing is I've made a compilation of all of the questions that we have received in the live chat, and what we'll do is we'll go just one by one. So this question has been asked by Priyanka Das. She asks, "Can you recommend a course on Flutter?"
I
Okay.
think, yeah. Please.
Yeah. So Rishabh, do you? I mean, have you followed any course?
Yeah, so I don't know, like it was a very popular course on Udemy, that is Angela Hughes is the author. So I found it, if you want to just begin with Flutter and understand the basic concepts and write one single page application, I think that is good enough for that.
Yeah, that is like a very good course that anyone can go with. And if you want to go for like the course in local language, especially in Hindi, so there is another GD called Pawan Kumar, and who has his own channel called Codepur, and he has his website also, codepur.school. So you can go and check his website and go for that course. And he has like tremendous amount of content on Flutter on his YouTube channel. It's not like that I'm promoting it, but I'm
No,
actually
no.
also following his channel, so that's why I loved it.
It's
Apart
good
from
to
that,
share something interesting. So
yeah, apart from that also there are like couple of more intermediate to expert level of Udemy courses available from the Angela, not from Angela. There is a one name I just missed it. It was just here in my tongue and I just missed it. Okay, so there is
on
he
Udemy,
also have a very good course. I will just put it in the chat once I will able to
Yeah,
recall it.
or what we can do is our viewers who are watching us, we also have a Switch Slack channel for dev support. So what we will be doing is like anything, any particular resources that you must have missed out on, like or you would want to kind of get access to, we will be sharing it in that particular Slack channel. So we have shared the link in the live chat. However, like just stay tuned towards till the end of the show. We will put it once again, so you can access
And
it from there.
and to mention one more thing, that if you are really interested, so there are a lot of stuff available free of course on YouTube. So basically, if you are really interested, you can find a course on YouTube also, and there are a lot of materials.
Yeah. By the way, I have also started my own YouTube channel. There is just a two video. What is stateless and stateful widget? If you like it, just go there, and like put your comments over there, and let me
What's the
know
name of
whether
your
I
channel,
should go in
Dhrumil?
the. Sorry,
What's the name of your channel, Dhrumil,
it's just
on
a Dhrumil
YouTube?
Shah only. There is no
Dhrumil Shah.
dedicated. Yeah, it's just a Dhrumil Shah,
Okay.
the YouTube channel, and yeah, that's it. I didn't. I mean, I found that I'm not that good in creating a like video. I feel
Tutorial.
more
I
comfortable like
think
I
I
was
think you are
talking.
an awesome
No,
teacher.
no, not at all. In fact, I think I
Yes.
was monitoring the chat and everyone was like, Dhrumil sir, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
really loved the video. There were people like mentioning that the session was really informative. So I think so. Yeah, we wouldn't take that if you say.
So we can, Amit, we can move on to another question.
Absolutely. We will move on to the next question. This is by Devarghya Adhikari. So he asks, what is the first step to learn Flutter?
The first step is first go to flutter.dev, and before that just have basic programming understanding. So at least I will prefer you to go and learn basic object orientation programming. That is kind of first step, so that you can understand how this widget are getting written. So whatever things that I have written over there, you exactly understand why it is a widget, what is class, what is this extends keywords means, what is this import, how does it works. So the basic understanding of the programming is the kind of a first step, and if you know this, then just go to flutter.dev, and then everything is there.
Awesome. I hope that answers your question. Moving on to the next one, we have one question by Somobrata Manna. He asks, sir, for this, do we need to register on Flutter app?
No, no, not at all. It is totally open source and free.
So
Okay.
I guess Rishabh, he means that the way we do, for the like
For the APIs?
Facebook, Twitter, kind of, we need to create an app on the Facebook and then get the ID, and then we need to integrate it. Then only we link it. So I guess for that, do we need to do this? I think no.
So for creating any Flutter app, you don't need to register anywhere. But if you're talking about the APIs, yeah, you need to register on the Switch, and once you create an account, you'll get the live credential. Sorry, API credentials. So post that you can integrate.
So the answer is yes. Not for the Flutter app, but to access the API. So now, whether you are using those API in the Flutter app or in the web app, you need to register it on the
Correct.
switch, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right. So moving on to the next one. This is by Shubham Agarwal. He asks, I'm an Android developer. I want to add Flutter skills. Should I learn iOS parallelly or should I learn iOS after some time? I want to add Flutter as an add-on skill.
Okay. Rishabh, do you want to add anything over here?
Please take this question. I think we were discussing this before the event, right?
Yeah. So to answer the question to the Shubham, you don't need to go and learn the iOS skill. What you can do is whenever you need help, or whenever there is a requirement to do something specific for the iOS, then only go and learn this. Otherwise, the currently, as you are already an experienced Android developer, that will be kind of a very easy jump, or the learning curve for you to learn iOS thing. Ideally, I will not recommend to go and learn iOS very first. Just go with the parallelly as soon as as much as there is a requirement, and then add on. And if you get interest, definitely go and learn like from the scratch. But
And I
for
think
the Flutter purpose, it's not that much required.
I think if you're learning Flutter, then you just need to know few basics about iOS so that you can just tune your code for the iOS devices. So something like native buttons and all.
Correct. By the way,
Right.
sorry to interrupt, and I'm just taking it to the another context. So Amit, you are actually reminding me the professor of the money heist somehow. I
So
don't know why. So
Dhrumil,
whenever
this is
I'm seeing you in the window, it just reminds me the professor.
so Dhrumil, to give
Absolutely.
you a
You just
context.
you just mentioned it. We are part of a heist right now. Like we are doing it. Developing a Flutter app and collecting money and all. We're talking about money and everything, and of course, professor has to be there.
And Dhrumil, just to give you a context, you are not the first person to give him this review. He is actually a professor, and you can see from the back end he was handling everything when we are
Yeah, yeah,
in the
yeah.
Back
I
end
mean, like,
everything.
anything just goes wrong, and he has another plan B, plan C.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, now you guys know how this was functioning. Yes. All right.
Cool.
Moving on to the next question. This is by Kaushal, and he asked, "What is the difference between native app and Flutter app?"
Okay, Rishabh, would you like to take on this?
Please go ahead, Dhrumil.
Okay. So native app and Flutter app. So Flutter app is actually sit on the native apps framework. So if even though you are building a Flutter application, there is a native app is getting built inside it. Right. So if you develop your Flutter app and if you export it as a binary, it will give you the native Android app only. The whole thing about the Flutter and the native differences is that, so whatever the complexity that native app has at the development front, that has been wrapped inside the another framework, which is the Flutter.
Flutter.
And Flutter gives you that much of flexibility that the way we have coded the whole screen within, like, I guess, less than 100 line of code, right?
Right.
Right, in the less than 100 line of code, we are able to, like, code the screen with the API as well. So to reduce that kind of the developer time, and to give you more productivity, there is the Flutter, and this kind of cross platform frameworks. So yes, there is a difference in terms of the technology, but inside it, you are actually getting the native app. So that's the
So
whole
Dhrumil,
difference.
what you try like what is also mean is that Flutter. So basically, we are building a native app only, but we are using Flutter as a framework that has eased the process of building it.
Correct,
Basically, what you said is we had 100 lines of code. If we were writing it natively, it might be 500 lines of code.
correct. So
But the
that's the.
working and process, everything is same in the behind the scenes.
No. So as I, at the starting of this session, I told that how Flutter is totally different. It actually,
Correct.
like, inspired from the game engine scenarios and
Uh-huh.
the methodology. So there are actually a very big difference. But just to give you, like, the layman answer that that
Layman, yeah.
every normal person can understand. So this is the main difference between native and the Flutter app.
Okay, Amit.
Sure. I think we have already overshoot the time, but we'll take one more last question, and I think then we can close it. So the last question is coming from Rishabh Ambasht. He asks, "Can we create cloud-based apps via Flutter?"
Uh, but I mean, this question is like very broad question.
Yeah,
I mean,
vague.
what
It's
do
kind of
you mean by
vague.
the cloud base? Because
So
right
if you're
now,
talking
what we
about
build.
yeah, I think if you're talking about the server side or the database side, then yeah, you can use other cloud-based platform like Firebase and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the current application, that we just demoed, so
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
the cloud base, because we are using the just API and
Yeah.
connecting it. Otherwise,
So
all the things are based on the cloud. So I guess the answer is yes, Rishabh, to you. We can create, but if you are asking that by writing the code, can we build the application which can host on the cloud? Then the answer is depends on what exactly kind of application you are looking for. If it is just a web app, you can obviously host it because now Flutter supports the web. Uh, but if you are asking about the backend, then you can't do using Flutter. You can do it with the Dart. I guess
All right.
I can see
Yeah.
one question. If we have, like,
Yes, sir.
can we just go beyond, I guess, because I can see
Yeah.
some
So
questions, and
yeah, we
the
do have a question.
Aman Kushwaha has kind of a very valid question.
Second. Yeah. So this one, right? If transaction is
Correct.
failed due to some reason at that time, how we can deal with this?
if trans so yeah, we did if a transaction has failed, we return you a error description, error code, and error message. So you can, if the transaction has failed, you will get to know the actual cause of the failure. So if the failure, so we also have different codes and messages, error messages. So depending on that, you can basically direct the flow of the app. So if a transaction has failed due to some issue with the with users input, you can give an option to the user for retrying it. If the transaction has failed due to our end or at the bank's end, you can show them something went wrong and try again later or something like that. So basically, we give you error codes and messages and description. Based on that, you can handle the flow of your app at your end. So we
But
will
Rishabh,
definitely,
what will happen? Like, for example, I requested the money,
yeah.
or let's just take another example. Like I sent the money, the amount is
Correct.
being debited, but now the API or maybe something went wrong somehow
Okay.
at application side.
So the money which was debited will be reversed to the source account, and obviously you will, like we have made a list of transfers, right? There you will see the transaction with all the transaction ID, amount, to whom you were trying to pay, but the status of the transaction will be failed.
Got it.
And there can also be another status that is called pending, where the user has still not paid, or we have not received a callback from the bank. So that pending will, we also have the APIs to check the status in a timely basis. That is kind of cron job. So once we have a webhook as a feature, where once the payment is status is updated, payment from pending to successful or pending to failed, our which team will send your server a response that this payment status has been changed with all the other details. So that webhook response is very useful and can be used in to handle all the flows, all the failure flows or the successful flows also.
Okay, cool. So
All
before
right.
we wrap up, do we have any question or we are wrapping up?
No,
Amit, I saw.
we do have a few questions, but what we can do is we could take them up in the Slack channel that
Okay.
we have
Yeah.
created, or we will as we. So this is the second in the series of the Build Flutter app. Probably seeing the response and everything, we might do a few more series, and some of the questions that may not have been taken in this session, we will definitely take it up.
So Amit,
Given
I can see.
interest of time, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I can see few people are asking what is that Slack link or group.
Yes, yes,
So
yes. I have. So if you just check in the live chat, we have shared the Switch Dev Support Slack channel link. You can join on this channel, and we can continue this conversation on the Slack channel as well. If any particular questions hasn't been answered, or due to the given time, this thing that we were following, we would be taking it up over there. And rest assured, stay subscribed to the channel, because we'll be doing a lot of these events, and you
like
don't
it.
want to miss out on the live sessions, particularly because it is in the live session when you actually learn more compared to a video which is already out there. Because in the live session, if you have any doubts, you can actually clarify then and there. And if you have folks like Dhrumil sir, it's even more worth it. So also we have shared the link to his channel as well in the live chat. So just visit his channel as well, subscribe to it, and I think that's about it. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everyone, for joining us
I
on a
just want
Saturday.
to
Yes,
I
yes,
just
sure.
want to give one announcement for the other folks who are still interested on the intermediate or expert level of Flutter Talk. So today so there is another community called GDG Ahmedabad. So I am from Ahmedabad, and I am also one of the organizers of GDG Ahmedabad. So in the GDG Ahmedabad tonight also there is one event is happening on how you can write your own plugin in a federated way. So I have just shared the link. If it is feasible for you to share it, so please share it so that the people who are interested to join this event. So it is like tonight 9 p.m. I won't be the speaker there. There will be another expert like Smith Sonani. He's also a kind of a good Android developer, sorry, Flutter developer. My mistake. and he's going to take the session over there. So if you are interested, just jump over there at 9 p.m. after dinner, and I might be been shown to you over there on the screen, or might not be.
Surprise.
Not. Yeah.
Suspense.
Cool. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so
And
much. So,
Amit,
and the link has been
so
shared.
much.
The event that Dhrumil was talking about, the link has been shared in the live chat. So you guys can just check the event and be sure to be a part of that. Okay.
Thank you,
All right, thank
everyone.
you, everyone. All right. See you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Dhrumil, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.